All right. Hey there, everybody. Wow, we already got a couple of people in here. That's so great to see. Ryan, Luca, what's going on? Damn, blurry again. Blurry again, as always. Let's see here. Let's do the thing. I am hyped. Love this song. There we go. Yo, Lampo, what's going on? Michael, what's going on? Here for some strokes. Let's get it rocking. Been waiting on this since last time. Yo, what's up, Michael? We're not doing the strokes today. We are doing Arctic Monkeys today. I guess I'll give people a couple seconds, a couple minutes. Give people a couple minutes to get in here, do some checks on the sound and whatnot. Let's see. Can people hear this? Yep, sounds like you can hear it. Just fine. Just fine. I'm blowing your mind, Michael, aren't I? Sorry. Remember, it's minor but major Mondays, and then whatever you want Wednesdays. Let's see about this one. How is this? You guys can hear that, I assume and hope. Yep. You guys can hear that? Yep, looks good. I guess I'll turn that up a little bit more. See how? Okay, no clipping, so I guess that's good. Okay. There it is, everybody. There it is. Greetings, 1 a.m. Shall I call you Schlafzimmer? What should I call you, Shelf? Surely I can't be saying Schlafzimmer every time. I suppose I could. That'd just be a mouthful. But I am honored that you are here, 1 a.m. your time. I'm glad you like this song enough to do that. I will say, I also like this song maybe this much. I think so. Fluorescent Adolescent is the first Arctic Monkeys song I ever heard. I had a cousin who was older than me, like 10 years older than me, and he came to live with our family on and off on the weekends, work, do some work in the area. And he was a big music person. And he frequently showed me great music because I was in middle school, high school, and didn't know how to navigate the undergrounds and the annals of the internet and the record store like he did. And I remember we were driving in the car one time and he played me Fluorescent Adolescent by Arctic Monkeys, and it blew my mind. It was kind of to the point of, it was one of those moments where you listen to that song and we're just both silent for the entire 3 minutes 20 seconds, whatever it is, of the song. And afterwards I was like, whoa, can we listen to that again? That's how good it blew my mind, hearing Fluorescent Adolescent by the Arctic Monkeys. And ever since then, been a big fan. I think that night that I had heard Fluorescent Adolescent for the first time, it was one of those nights where I stayed up through the night just with my headphones under my covers in bed, just listening to the song over and over and over, reading the lyrics, reading interpretations of the lyrics, reading about the band. And it was by the time the sun had come up and I went to school the next morning, I had already had all the lyrics of the song memorized and listened to 20 times. When I tell you that this song sparked an obsession for me, it that's it's very real. I was going fluorescent adolescent mode. I was monkey pill fluorescent adolescent maxing, uh, as the kids say nowadays, and it was great. It was awesome. So that's kind of the interesting thing about this live stream is that I know we often do like, oh, the process, seeing me figure everything out and us figuring things out live. The funny thing is, I already know this song. Like, I already know all the guitar parts, all the bass parts, all the vocal parts. I know the chords, so be in. It won't look the same as the other live streams where we figure things out together and analyze live. Like, I already know a good chunk of this song, and so I think it'd be really interesting to see what we come up with and what we get up to in having a live stream like this, where it's like I already know this song front to back. Um, you know what I mean? So I'm excited to see what we'll get up to. Mr. Vuk, how you going, bro? Keen for this one. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. I'm happy you're excited about this one. I'm excited to do it as well. Um, let's see. I'm not beating the fluorescent adolescent the fluorescent adolescent fan allegations. No, certainly not. Um, monkeys maxing. I'm Arctic monkeys maxing over here. Um, I should do Marty Bum after. Marty Bum, I thought Marty Bum was gonna win the poll this first time round. I honestly was surprised that it didn't. Honestly, um, so I'm hoping Marty Bum next. I mean, again, I just like I said, Monday, every other Monday is minor but major Monday. So we're doing Julian Casablanca's Strokes and Strokes adjacent stuff. Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, we do whatever you want Wednesday, right? And just whatever you guys vote for in the polls, that's it. The polls win. Sorry. Um, you shared my As It Was cover on Facebook and all my friends love it. Hey, I am so happy to hear that, Rudy. I am so happy that people are liking the music. Thank you for sharing. I got a couple of original songs out already. I got more on the way. I'm working. I got a bunch of great songs I'm sitting on and producing, and I'm very excited to get out for you guys. So that will be happening soon. I hope that you like that music enough as well to also share with your friends and everything. So thank you very much for the support. I wanted to also say, Mr. Vuk, how's it going, bro? I will say, maybe I mentioned this in the last live stream. I'll say it again that I definitely, I have been dealing with some health issues, the last month and a half or so of like a stress and anxiety or other whatever induced episode of acid reflux. I'm 28, everybody. I'm 28 now, and my body is aging, and it's not fun. It's not good, and it can affect your voice. I had no idea acid reflux could affect your voice. I was like having like hoarseness, and like voice problems and scratchiness for a while there. I have seen some doctors and have more doctor's appointments coming, and try my best to like take care of the gut biome and take care of things. And I am getting better, but there's always a chance that things could just go away. So, or sorry, there's a chance that things could just kind of come back. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for now, just for everyone wondering why did I take a break, that's why I was dealing with some health issues, and I just figured why not continue to be transparent with everybody. So, um, hoping that we just hoping that that was the worst of it, and we just keep going. You know what I mean? Brutal, yeah, it kind of is. But my heart goes out to anyone else who's dealing with stuff like that. Praying for you, Maddie. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much. So, my friends, it's 7:10. I usually wait till about 10 after to give people like time to hop in. So I think it's time to maybe get going. So first one, I think maybe you guys can tell me in the comments while we do an initial listen through of the song. Maybe you can tell me if you'd prefer we hop into music and music theory kind of stuff, or if we hop into lyrics and like lyrical analyses and stuff like that. Let me know in the comments what you guys would want to do. So we're going to start with a listen through of the song, right? I often like to, yeah, I mean, we do a lot of music theory on the live streams, which is great, and I love music theory, but it's not a replacement or a proxy at all for the actual tactile experience of, experiencing the music. So I always like to also push for the importance and significance of the actual music appreciation. Just the experience of engaging with the art. And so that's what we're going to start with. We're going to listen to the song, probably just all the way through all together. And then we'll just gush. Basically, we'll be like, this song rocks for this reason and that reason. I love how they do this with the guitar and that with the voice. And I love the drums that do this. I love that this chord from that. You know, just gush about the experience of enjoying the music. And then we'll probably do another listen through. We'll pause and talk about stuff and maybe even talk about production and like other artistic choices. So we're starting with that. We're starting out with general music appreciation. So let's do a listen through of the song, everybody, and just love on this amazing song. All right. Wait, dude, you're 28. Yes, I am 28. Sage like wisdom. I am honored. I appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. I've just been obsessed with music. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm like more sage-like than many other people. There's countless people who are way better at all this than me. I just am happy to have been able to find a community of people who are just as excited and passionate about this stuff as I am, and I'm very grateful that I get to interact with all the people like you. So thank you for being here, everybody. Let's do it. Let's listen to Favorite Worst Nightmare. Great album too, by the way. I will say I gotta say I think this is my favorite Arctic Monkeys album. Maybe, I don't know, it's close. This one and Tranquility Base are both really high up there for me. I mean, whatever people say and That's What I'm Not is so good. It's so good. But upon subsequent listens, I find it harder to get through that album front to back than to get through this album front to back. I feel like this one's just like a little bit more consistent, a little leaner. And I call it, it's funny, I call this, I made this up a while ago talking about the Strokes, like everyone's talking about like, Is This It? And, versus Room on Fire. I feel this way also about this, like comparing whatever people say I am, That's What I'm Not, to Favorite Worst Nightmare, is I call it like a classic Pikachu Raichu situation, where it's like Raichu is like objectively, you know, it's I'll take away objectively. That's not a fair word to use when talking about this stuff. Raichu is everything that Pikachu is, but stronger, better, faster, harder. You know what I mean? However, a lot of people are just going to like and prefer Pikachu for the cultural significance, for the fact that it's Pikachu. And so I feel like this is that situation too, where it's like, I mean, Room on Fire is everything that Is This It is, but bigger, harder, faster, stronger. But a lot of people are going to prefer Is This It, just because the cultural significance around it. And the same thing here. I think Favorite Worst Nightmare is just pretty much what the debut album is. Whatever people say, That's What I'm Not. That is such a mouthful. What do you guys do to like keep that down? It's such a mouthful. Whatever people say, That's What I'm Not. Do people just call it Whatever? The album Whatever. Whatever. ... Favorite Worst Nightmare is just like bigger, faster, harder, stronger. But so many people just prefer the first one for the Pikachu of it all. And honestly, totally respect it. There's no right answer. Let's see here. Room on Fire is the shower album. I can listen to it front to back. Exactly. First album. Yes, I know. From underneath the boardwalk or whatever it's called. I know. And also, oh no, that's the bootleg. But also, who the fuck are Arctic Monkeys? I know that as well. But that's an EP, not an album. I do have a background in audio engineering. Is there any records I recommend that are well engineered and put together? What is the difference between good versus poor? Michael, that is a phenomenal question. I'm going to request, Michael, that you re-ask that question maybe towards the end of the stream, because that's a fantastic question. I would love to answer and discuss, but I think we got to get this show on the road with Arctic Monkeys. So please bring that one back up. Let's listen to this amazing song, everybody. Am I sharing my sound? Forgot. I got to check that. Share sound. Yep. Perfect.
niceness, landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Nothing seems to pity is the past though. A Bloody Mary's like an El Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory. And those dreams, when as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them all. Flicking through a little book of sex tips. Remember when the bars were all electric? And now when she's told she's gonna get it, I'm guessing that she'd rather just forget it. Clinging to not getting sentimental. Said she wasn't going but she went still. Like a gentleman had to be gentle. Was it a Mechadobber or a betting pencil? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory. And those dreams, when as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them overflow. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Falling about, you took a left off last life lane, just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. Falling about, you took a left off last life lane, you were just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. You used to get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your nightdress. You just gotta love the noise and the niceness, landing in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Is everything as pretty as the past though? A Bloody Mary's like an El Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal?
Wow, just a nice breezy 2 minutes 53 seconds right under there. It's still so good. The song is still so good all these years later, and knowing and loving the song. It's it's so interesting. Like it is like all in all quite a simple song, but it's just done in just like the best way. When I say simple, I mean simple like compositionally, like the chords and the melodies and stuff, pretty simple. But man, can we just give it up for Matt Helders on the drums? Like, geez, Lord. Michael Miller, pretty good. You've never heard Arctic Monkeys before, my friend. Michael, I'm so happy to hear that I'm so happy to be able to give you the opportunity to listen to them. I'm jealous that you have a whole world of Arctic Monkeys to hop into. They are very, very good. And it's very interesting. They're kind of, I kind of think of them, I mean, I'm about to say a heavy, heavy, heavy phrase. I promise I don't mean it in the way that I don't mean it as heavy as it may sound. I kind of think about them as like a modern Beatles in the sense that they changed their sound so much back and forth in a way that you don't really see a lot of other bands doing nowadays. So it is really cool to see that every time a new album kind of comes out, they really change and evolve their sound and their direction and their look and everything. So it's very, very, very cool to see that from a band like Arctic Monkeys. That's something you have to look forward to. The only song that we had down completely, but you didn't have a drummer. Yep. Oh yeah. The spirit of indie will always live within you for this kind of stuff. Absolutely. I mean, again, we gotta give it up for Matt Helders on the drums. It is so impressive. Like, I think he's really driving the song. I mean, this song for me, like, it's a common thing when you are, well, it's kind of like a piece of wisdom, a little nugget in like deeper in like the world of like record production and producing and songwriting and arranging and that kind of stuff to just say like, if you boil your song down to like two elements, will it still work? Like what are the two elements? And if you ask me, this song is drums and vocals. It's like if like if you have a mixing board out and you could bring if you bring you can bring down everything except vocals and drums. Like that's the song, man. That's the song right there. Why don't let's go back in here. Have I heard of Ceramic Animal? No, I have not heard of Ceramic Animal. Let's kind of go back in here and now let's take another listen and do the one where we listen back through and we pause in the middle and just like appreciate it and everything. I know the first thing I'm gonna say is, man, I love how stabby the beginning is, right? Like those hits on the snare with the guitar riff and then the syncopation of the two different guitars left and right as they bounce back and forth on those chords. Like what that is, like what an announcement. That song is like the beginning is just like attention, like wow, it just grabs you. And man, something about those first couple of seconds is like really just kind of magical. Let's hear. Sir, you know what I'm gonna do, Rudy? Is I'm gonna go. Is Ceramic Animal on Spotify? Oh, they are. Okay, I'll give them a follow, Rudy. If you have any suggestions of what specific songs or albums, I'll take a listen. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, I have to say, yeah, the drum kicking in right from the jump, and especially, let's see here, come on, bunk. The bounce, right? It's so bouncy, right? Like here, I'll come over here. I love, because in the left hand, in the left hand, haha, in the one guitar, the rhythm guitar, you have, not the rhythm guitar, I guess that would be the lead guitar, the riff, right? Right? And then on the right, you just have those stabs of the chords, right? Like, that. Right. When I was younger, and still now, like I'm just obsessed with the way that it hits kind of that reggae feel and kind of reggae like syncopated sound on these two parts, right? Those two are just like unforgettable. It's boo ga boo ga boo ga. It's just such a good rhythm, Boo ga boo ga boo ga. Even just doing it just like that with nothing other than just the rhythm of what I just did. It's a really engaging rhythm. Boo ga boo ga boo ga. It almost feels like it kind of has a swing to it. It doesn't, but you sang this at a karaoke club a month ago and one person hollering. Nice. Alicia, that's great. That's an interesting karaoke sound. I'm glad that they even had it. I'm surprised they had it at karaoke. It's funny, like the idea of like having a left and a right guitar bounce back and forth, like one being on the on beat and the other one being on the off beat, that's not novel. It's really not that crazy or uncommon to see, but something about the way that they do it, maybe it's the lead up, you know what I mean? Maybe it's the fact that boo, ga, boo, 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 ga, boo, ga, boo, ga, boo, ga. I think that's probably exactly what it is that, look at the first two times we have that, boo, ga. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. Right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. That's setting that up, that you're setting up an expectation that you're always going to be hearing that guitar on the right side stab on the 2. Right? You've already set up an expectation. And in fact, it is specifically that second stab that sets up the expectation. If you do just this, You have no idea what's going to come after it. But that is when you get the expectation right there. So what they do is they set up an expectation and then immediately shatter it. Immediately, because you have boo, ga, boo, 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 ga. So now you're expecting again to get a boo, 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 ga. But they don't do that. They go boo, ga, boo, 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 ga, boo, ga, boo, ga, boo. Like they immediately hit you in the face by being like, and you think we're going to go this way. Just kidding. It's a sucker punch. It's a musical sucker punch, so to speak. And it is so good. You know, it's the rhythms, man. It's the rhythms playing on setting up your expectations and then subverting them. So that is why that very, very, very simple thing of just the bass note and then the chord on the offbeat hits you so hard there, right? You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be that. Right? That's so common. It's so common. However, you're right, Ian. It is zagging indeed, right? And everything is just made harder by it hits harder by the fact that it is guitars and whatnot. So such a strong opening again with that. And also, what are the drums doing there with the snare and then? And then I also love, I mean, they do that again. Like they have the offbeat on the rhythm guitar, the chording guitar in the intro. And then when it drops in with the full sound and the full band, you'd think that it's going to go do do ba da boo da 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 boo da, excuse me, a boo da boo da boo. Again, hitting it on the offbeats, but it doesn't. They just do it the one time in the beginning, maybe one time other later in the song, but they just slap you in the face with that zag once. And then after that, everything is also on the downbeat there. You know, because 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you're expecting what is that? The 3 and 4 end. The end of 3 and 4 is when we get that. And you think that it's going to do that again when the full band drops in. You think it's going to go. Right? But then again, they subvert your expectation once again. Because after that, then they go right down to the downbeat. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's so good. It's so good. They do it again during the third verse. Yes. We'll have to see. The drums, though. The drums. Ugh, the drums. Is that just like 7 seconds of drums? Yeah. I mean, again, it's rhythms. It's all about the rhythms. Like, that's so... The hi-hat work is so good for Mr. Helders. It's really keeping you... And the kick... Ain't nothing to scoff at too. It's like, I don't even know, man. We're not supposed to be doing the theory analyses yet. We're just supposed to be enjoying it, so we're just gonna do that. But wow, the rhythms, right? That's already what we're getting from this. It's all about the rhythms here, all about the rhythms.
You used to get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress.
And then the immediate switch up, right? I mean, we are 20 seconds into the song, and you already have basically 3 different dynamic modes, right? Because the first one is like big hits, but stabs, And then we drop into like kind of a full blast situation with the whole band, and then immediately we pull stuff away and it's just drums, bass, and vocals, right? And even then, we get rid of the backbeat. There's no snare. I love this part where the drums come in for the verse with the vocals, and there's no snare. He's just going ba 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 with that kick. Ba 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 ba. It's so creative. It's so good.
To get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole.
And then, wow, geez, the hi-hats are so good. Yeah, Mr. Vuk, the thick tone of the lower guitar riff. Yes, I mean he's definitely doing like humbuckers on the middle pickup, and it's real good. It's real nice with just the right amount of distortion, right amount of cleanliness. Those terrace dynamics, man.
Dress, discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole.
I mean, I also like right on his vocal, he has the slap back delay. That's what that's called. That makes it sound like he's in an arena.
To get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis.
Something that's so interesting is where is he doing the T's and where is he not doing the T's, right? Like he does hit the T on the fishnets. He does not hit the T on night dress. But whenever he says night, he doesn't hit the T, but he does get it on naughty. Right? It's like where are the T's and where are into the T's? It's keeps you on your toes in this really interesting way. Like this song for me like perfectly puts on display how compelling his Sheffield accent can be, right?
To get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole.
And you can hear also like his mouth is moving all over the place. Like you can hear when he says crisis, he literally goes crisis. Landed in a very common crisis. Like you can hear he's shaping those vowels around there, and it is so good. Like because it's like it's totally unpredictable. That's what the thing is about it. You hear someone say these words and you're just like, I've never heard people say these words in this way before, and it is so interesting and engaging and so good. I definitely sang this song when I was in high school, like with my band, and I definitely probably sang it like a choir boy. I probably sang this song like, you used to get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Like I was probably so ridiculous about it, and it probably sounded terrible. Let's be real here. I'm trying to sing this song as a choir boy. Probably not very good. All right, so we can't not talk about the bass. We haven't talked about the bass yet. I love how in the beginning, when the full band comes in, we have this like it's almost like Red Hot Chili Peppers-esque with the big octaves, right? Like, I'm not going to get my bass out. Maybe I will later. But he does the big octaves, Like, it's those octaves hit so hard. It's like a secondary snare. It's so good. And then, when he comes in with the vocals, the bass then goes to this really awesome, more staccato thing where it goes up the octave to where the guitar is. Almost makes you think that it's still the guitar playing until it drops, goes down the octave there to down below where a guitar can play, and then you go, oh, that's not the guitar, that's the bass. It's like truly like that's what they've done here. This whole song is they've taken something quite simple, the chords and the music and the melodies, but they really gussied up all the rhythms and all the little in-between minutia and nuances to really make every single moment of this song just pop,
foolishness. Now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Nothing seems to pity is the past though. A Bloody Mary's like an El Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal? Oh, the boys are slag. The best.
So that's something so interesting about this is we've made it all the way to the chorus here in 30 seconds. There has not been one. I mean, how many bars is this? You know, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3. Yeah, okay. So this is a 4-bar chord progression, basically, right? 4 bars looping. And I think we do it 1, 2, 3. We do it what? 8 times? 8 times, something like that, in the time that we get to the chorus. Not a single time through those 4 bars looping that chord progression. Not a single time is it the same. Every single time we do it, there's something different or new about it. Such attention to detail.
The best you ever. Bloody Mary's like an El Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had. The best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams. When as daft as they seem, as daft as they seemed, my love, when you dream them all.
I mean, the deliberateness, I love, again, all like the choice of rhythms where it's like, you know what, guys, we're going to, first time we go through the chorus, we're going to hit the stabs on the ba-da, 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 ba-da. Okay, and now are we going to go full blast? No, we're going to do it again. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. Okay, then we go full blast, right? Yes, but only for the shortest little amount of time, and then we go back to just doing some stabs. But all the stabs are different. It's like all these stops and starts at a tempo this high. It's amazing that they're able to just keep the momentum going. You'd think with all the changing and some of the stopping and the starting and the stabs that you might lose some momentum here, but everything is just perfectly done that you never lose the momentum. It's a ride.
The boys are slag. The best you ever had. The best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams. When as daft as they seem, as daft as they seemed, my love, when you dream them all. Flicking through a little book of sex tips. Remember when the bars were all electric? And now when she told she's gonna get it, I'm guessing that she'd rather just forget it. Clinging to not getting sentimental. Said she wasn't going, but she went still. Like a gentleman had to be gentle. Was it a mecca?
Wow, and that time, it's crazy. We get all the way through this verse, and everything's pretty much the same. And actually, we're seeing some repetition here. And I loved, I mean, God, that chorus guitar up top, it adds such a level of like melancholy, both in terms of the note choices and the sound of it being, you know, putting that chorus effect on the guitar. It's so cool. And it's also really cool to see the guitar, the lead guitar that was a riff on a scale, then just totally change and do these chords and these arpeggios. And also hop way up in range, right? Like that guitar on the left, that riff guitar, the lead guitar, if you will, it is way down in range the whole time. It's way down here. It never goes above here on the guitar. Even when I do the... I think it just does power chords there, right? And then, so we're way down here the whole time. And then going into that second verse, that's a huge amount of momentum when you're expecting that guitar on the left to stay low. And instead, it goes way up here. Right? I told you I already knew this song, so we're gonna... This one's gonna be a little bit different this way. But I love that. And putting the chorus guitar on it as well. And then, you know, because now this second verse is so consistent, you're kind of expecting it to be consistent all the way through. But it just stops short when we get to gentle, right?
Gentlemen to be gentle with a macadabra or a betting pencil. Oh, the boys are slag. The best you
Again,
ever.
it's so good that like that stop where you just have his vocal all the way through. It's so good, and I love the callback because what is the snare on gentle?
Gentlemen to be gentle with a macadabra.
Right? Ba, ba, ba. It's right at the beginning, right? Right? There you go. We call that back all the way at the end of that second verse. We call back the ba ba ba. It's so good. It's such a cool little motif. What did I tell you? This song is all about the rhythms and the dynamics and the pushing and pulling. And it also helps that the rhythm of the vocal, you know, keeps that momentum going. A mecadaba oh a bed and pencil. Like, imagine if you had imagine you had a longer melody without so many, are those 8th notes or 16th notes, right? 1 and 2. Those would be 16th notes. A mecadaba oh a bed and pencil. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and. If you didn't have all those 16th notes, you probably wouldn't be able to carry that momentum through that break. It's almost like his vocal with all those 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and. It's almost like a hi-hat. It's almost like the 16th note hi-hat in here, right?
To get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness.
That's why we're able to keep that momentum going, is because of the melody, because it's so fast and there's so many 16th notes. It keeps that momentum going. So good.
A macadabra or a betting pencil. Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had. The best you ever had is just a man.
Oh man, there's so much to love and appreciate about this song. I mean, here we are, we're in this chorus. We repeat the chorus a second time, but it's not the same at all, right? We flip it. This, in the first chorus, it's stab, double stab, and then full blast, right? Stab, double stab, full blast, and then kind of stopping. The second chorus flips it. Now we kind of have full blast and then the stabs at the end, then returning to full blast. It's like they're repeating the overall sections, or the overall idea, the compositional sections and the chart, but they're doing it differently every time. Like we're repeating this chord progression in these sections, but we do it differently every single time we loop it. We do not a single time get through this four bar progression without changing something about it. And the same thing when we repeat the chorus the second time, the chorus is very different, entirely switched around. And also, I also love the first chorus. It's just Alex singing, right?
The boys are slag. The best you ever had. The best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams.
Yeah. But going into the second chorus, you not only get Alex singing, you also get Matt singing backup, and maybe Nick as well.
Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had. The best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams. But as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream.
Right. So it's just that subtle little thing of like, yeah, you know, just for these two lines.
Those dreams. But as
From
oh, the boys are slag.
from the best you ever had to end those dreams. Just for that section, we're adding a second voice, a gang vocal. It's all this like subtlety of arrangement, that really keeps the whole thing fresh and interesting the entire time. Again, all the while the bass and the drums are just like really going all out, man. Again, Matt Helders is the MVP of this freaking song, man. It's so good.
Oh, the boys are slag, the best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams. But as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them up, oh, flow. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go?
I mean, that is such like from a songwriting perspective, such a perfect bridge. If you subscribe to this idea that bridges need to contrast and need to show you a brand new, or not subscribe to the idea, but rather there's lots of different functions of a bridge, lots of different ways to do a bridge. If you want to do the type of bridge that is like, yeah, let's totally flip things on their head and then maybe give a new perspective lyrically as well as give a new idea musically, this is a perfect way to do it, right? How many ways are we contrasting? Well, first of all, we're contrasting lyrically, right? Look at all these words. Look at all these texts. Look how many words he's saying, how fast he's singing them. Even in the chorus, right? The boys are slag, the best you ever had. And that's still quite textually pretty dense. Notice how much this changes when we get down here. It's just like, you know what? We're going to contrast this lot. You know what? We're going to take all those words away and now just repeat something. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? It's such a great way to contrast that choice of, I'm going to stop, slow down, and repeat myself in a couple of ways. Because I haven't done that at all. A minute and 40 seconds into the song, we haven't done that at all. So I'm going to take the time now to do it in contrast. It also is a big contrast in terms of the rhythms, right? So many of the rhythms in the song up to this point are just so fast, right? They're so fast and stabby and hitting the 8th notes and the 16th notes and those kinds of things, It feels very kind of straight on the beat. We'll say straight, on the downbeats and stuff. It's really not too heavily syncopated. It still very much gives you like a kind of a 4 on the floor type feeling. And that continues when we go into the verse, when we go into the chorus and we do the right? We're kind of keeping that feel of the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when we go to the bridge, all of a sudden we're totally changing around and going, right? We're totally syncopated now. Before we had like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and now we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3. All of a sudden there's this big emphasis on the and of 2, right? We've had so much emphasis on all those strong beats, the on beats like the 1s and the 2, and now we're emphasizing the and of 2. There you go, right? We're musically, rhythmically, we are musically, rhythmically, and lyrically going into this bridge is like a total contrast, a total flip. It's just really good songwriting. It's just perfect choices, because we have this consistent theme all the way through here. And then now in the bridge, it's still kind of the theme, because the theme would be, fast rhythms and especially keeping things fresh and rhythmic and switching up all the rhythms every section. But now we switch up the rhythms in a very different way, where what we've done is we've completely changed the time feel. That's the big thing, right? Even though we had all these different rhythmic changes and these arrangement changes, accompaniment changes, in the verse, chorus, intro, verse, chorus, the time feel was still the same. It still was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? We still had that very confident on beat feel. And now we switch up the time feel to be more syncopated and hitting boo, ba, boo, ba. It's a very it doesn't, people don't think of it as such, but it is an entirely different mode, an entirely different feel. To just be like, we're gonna kind of move the emphasis off of the 2 onto the and of 2. It almost turns it around and makes it feel almost like reggaeton, or starts pushing it in a more Latin direction. It's just that change of time feel is huge. People really underestimate how big of a difference it feels when you're like subdividing your bars. Like, okay, are we doing it symmetrically, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and or kind of asymmetrically where we push things, 1 and 3, and 3, and big change in feel there, big change, and they really exploit that perfectly.
Those dreams, but as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them overflow. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go?
But it's still so conducive. We still tie it to the rest of the song, because what do we have is this really nice high chorused guitar, the that part, that is the same like sound, the same like guitar pedal patch setup as the second verse.
Through a little book of sex tips. Remember when the bars were all electric, and now when she's told she's gonna get it,
Right, you hear that?
I'm guessing that she'd rather just forget.
There we go. So we're still tied to the song and keeping it feel cohesive and conducive by like taking this element and kind of pulling it over here kind of as a seam, or maybe it's a seam cover rather, right? We're hiding the seam by doing that kind of stuff, keeping it all connected and tight. And then at the end of the bridge, where I said, we changed that feel and kind of made it that feel that kind of like swung almost like reggaeton kind of feel. Ba, 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 ba. We do then immediately go back basically to the top of the song with we return to our straight 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 time feel with the idea of all these stabs, but we change the arrangement of those rhythms, of those stabs. We have the same thing. We have the stabs and the straight rhythm, kind of like the intro of the song, but now we're changing it around. So everything about it is familiar except the rhythm of the stabs. That's new. So everything about it is familiar to keep you engaged, keep it cohesive, keep it like, I am understanding and comprehending what's happening. But it still feels connected and like referential to the earlier part of the song by doing those things. But it keeps you engaged, keeps you hooked, keeps you interested because it gives you a new rhythm, right? What was the old rhythm? The old rhythm was 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Ba ba ba. Da 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 da. Right? Now the rhythm is... Wait, hold on.
flame.
It's so good, right? So vocally, we are kind of continuing this feel of like, we're going to slow things down. More legato, more melodic, more sentimental. But we're starting to add some more content here as well. We're keeping this idea going vocally. Why don't we just draw a little bit, if you guys are okay with it, on this rhythm here. Are you guys still watching? Are you still enjoying this? Chat's been kind of quiet. I wonder, does this mean that it's that interesting and engaging that you're all watching with rapturedly, or am I boring you and you have nothing interesting, you have nothing to say? Let me know. So let's say here we have, it's a 4-bar progression, right? So the intro, man, I gotta that. So the intro is 3/4, right? Ba ba ba, and then a rest. That's what we see, right? Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Oh man, these aren't quarters, those are eighths. What am I doing here? Sorry guys, why don't you tell me? Let's see here. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right. Okay, I don't remember this. Half, whole. I think is a half rest up top? I think it is. I think it is, right? A half rest is up top? Yeah. So 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. That's what we see with those big stabs in the intro, right? When we go to the, we're going to call this the post bridge. Yes, I'm going to call this the post bridge. Or is it the bridge and the flow part is a post chorus? I don't know. Post bridge. Could be the intro redux. Now things are just so slightly varied to keep it interesting, right? So So 1 and 2. There we go. This is where it gets interesting. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Ba-da. Yep, that's the interesting part right there. Ah, now we're going to start to flip it around. Yeah, let's see here. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 3, 4, and okay, on the and of 4. That's 2. We get 3. And there we go. Traditional rhythms in a Maddie Gregg live stream. See, I normally try to avoid this stuff. What are you gonna do? There you go. Look at that. It's obviously very similar, right? Bars 1, 2, and 4 are identical. All we do is vary bar 3 from the intro, and it basically makes it feel brand new, right? Like even if we just clap that out. 1 and 2. Ba da da da. 1 and 2. Ba ba. 1 and 2. Ba ba ba. 1 and 2. Da 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 da. Cool, right? Now, going into the post-bridge part, which frankly kind of feels like a breakdown, doesn't it? Kind of feels like a breakdown here. We vary that just enough that it feels brand new and interesting and engaging, but familiar at the same time. 1 and 2. Ba da da da. 1 and 2. Ba da da ba. 1 and 2. Da da and 1 and 2. All right? It's just interesting enough, right? The difference of that's cool. Not as cool as it's just more interesting. I want to repeat it. See, I didn't want to repeat the original one, but this one, I could just keep that going forever. It just has that little bit of changing it around. It's so good. It's so good. And I love that they keep that going, too. Because that whole thing keeps going during the vocal bridge as well, the vocal post bridge, right? Because it's the you're falling about, you took a left off last laugh lane, you're sounding it out, you're not going back again. It's so good. It's such a perfect little thing to keep it interesting and intriguing underneath, right? What if we didn't? What if we did the intro rhythm at this breakdown? I don't think it's as good, right? What if it was, you're falling about, you took a left off last laugh lane, you're sounding it out, you're not coming back again. It's just not as good as you're falling about, you took a left off last laugh lane, you're sounding it out, you're not coming back again. It just has such a good build-up. It's so good. But the fact that it is just such a subtle variation of the actual intro, again, it just lights up your brain in the perfect way. I know this part. This is just like the beginning. Whoa, hold on a second. It's the same but different. Oh, and now it's even more different because now we got these new melody on there as well. And this melody is not like the older melody that's all fast and quick. It's actually like the previous bridge melody that's like longer and melodic. It's so good. You should analyze a song by the band Hers. Hey, I will. If it wins in the poll, that's what I always say when I'm always doing this. I'm just doing these based off of the polls. So if you guys get some Hers, I'll put Hers on the poll, and if people vote for Hers, then we'll do Hers. But I'm down to do anything you guys want. Let's listen to that again. The contrast here to the intro and then this bridge section. Right? Now let's do this part.
Took a left off last life lane, just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again.
Yep, Just woof, it's so good. Let's see here. I'd love to know why the ending with the first verse and the bridge interact. So this is great. Yeah, I think I answered your question already, Catbot, right? I'd love to know why the ending with the first verse and the bridge interact. This is great. I think I already answered that question, but let me know if I didn't and if you have any specific questions. I can't show up to the majority of this live stream. I figured to stop by. Romano, what is going on? Thank you for stopping by. Romano is quite a homie. We love Romano around these parts. He's an excellent artist. Even did some art for the last live stream. So thank you for being here, Romano. Schlafzimmer. What an ingenious rhythmic variation. I've not looked at that close before. I know. I mean, it's crazy. It's so subtle, but that subtlety, it's mwah, mwah. It's like that Emperor's New Groove meme, right? It's just perfect. And you know what's interesting is this whole song, we have all these like snare stabs, all these little snare fills and things, you know, like in the beginning it's the pop pop pop.
To get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your...
You know, there. And then going into the chorus, you get these snare stabs.
But the boys are slag, the best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams.
And then in the bridge, in this post-bridge breakdown thing, you get these kinds of stabs. And then finally, heading back into the final verse, where we are repeating this like post-bridge refrain melody thing, we finally get all the eighths on that snare, just really, really, really building it up.
You're not coming back again. You're falling about. You took a left off last
Full
night.
blast. It's so good. And it, man, it like makes your brain light up. Like, man, I feel like a monkey brain, like, ooh, ooh, ah, it's so good. Oh, Arctic Monkeys, haha. When you just get used to this new melody.
You took a left off last life lane.
And then it comes back in and it's like, wait a second, this is the same thing as the verse, right?
Everything's in order in a black hole. Nothing seems to pity is the past though. That Bloody Mary's like...
You're like, wait a second, wait, this is the verse. This is the verse, but now with this new melody, right? It's just like, oh man, that's so cool. You're like, this sounds so familiar. It's oh, this is the new melody with the verse accompaniment. It's so good. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, you're like, oh okay, now he's going back to the old verse. Okay, great, but then the gang vocal comes back in and does the new melody on top of the old melody. It's like, it gives you that perfect laying of like, oh, this is like that, but not different. Oh, sweet. Okay, so now we're going back to this, but still keeping that other thing. Okay. Oh, now we're going way back to the beginning. Okay. Oh, wait, no. Like, it's just like, there's all these reveals, like this one and that one and this one and that one, that just makes your brain light up, you know what I mean? They're putting electricity right into your brain. Oh, it's so good.
You're not coming back again. You used to get it in your fishnets. Now you only get it in your diamond dress. You just gotta drop the noise and the niceness. Surrounded in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Is everything as pretty as the past though? That Bloody Mary's like an Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal?
And then finally ending on that minor chord. Woof. It's so good, dude. It's so good. Even up to the end, like there's like I said, a major theme of this song is repeating things. but never quite in the same way, always changing them around. And we do that even at the very end, right? I mean, think about the fact that we have heard this chord progression. We've heard this chord progression 100 times by now. And it always either resolves back to the 1 chord and keeps it going, right? Or it resolves it to the 2 chord for the chorus, right? Right? So we've done that a bunch of times. When we're on our 5 chord, we always either go back to the 1 or we go to the 2 for the chorus. Now finally, here at the end, they give us this 5 chord, you know, you're not coming back again. And you really think you're gonna go to that 1, but we can't let you get away from this song without doing one more thing at the end. And we go deceptive cadence. And we hit ourselves the relative minor chord, which we haven't really done that yet. We haven't really, no, we haven't done that yet. You know, you're not coming back again. Every single moment of the song is packed to the brim with stuff that's like similar to the other things that you've already heard in the song, referencing them, or adding new things but keeping old things. And oh man, it truly is like perfectly balancing the novelty and the familiarity, just keeping you hooked the whole time, all the time. It is just, it's packed to the brim with those goodies, man. It is so good. They just took such simple stuff and they really went all out, pulled all the stops out when it came to arranging this song. And, you know, arranging and producing, like, oh, the gang vocal here, the gang vocal there, this part, this rhythm there, a variation on that rhythm here, oh, a new section, and it's contrasted to the other section, but we're going to staple it together, tie it all together by having the same guitar sound as we had in the verse. It's just so good, man. Just, oh, it's basically perfect. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's like I don't even know what you could do differently. Firing on all cylinders, certainly. By the way, Schlafzimmer is a German word for bedroom. Bedroom sessions. All right, nice. I'm glad I pronounced it well. I can call you Paul if I remember. When I see Schlafzimmer in the future, I'll hope I remember Paul. But okay, I'll try to call you Paul. So. It's so good. I don't know what else to say here. I mean, I definitely took a different approach to the music appreciation part. Usually I go and I listen to like, oh yeah, this performance there, that performance there. Even calling out like little things like vocals and basses and stuff. But like this time, we just had to talk about the arrangement. That's really all there was too. And we didn't even get as deep as we could have. We definitely could have done way more at the looking at like specifically like the drum rhythms, what part of the drum rhythms are different, like, oh, this hi-hat pattern is taken from that part with that hi-hat part, and then the bass is different in the first chorus to the second chorus, and then in the intro you have the octave part on the bass, and then we don't bring that back until the very end of the song. I'll show you that one. That one's really neat, really cool. Let's see here. Listen to the bass. With the octave.
You used to get it in your fishnets.
The whole rest of the song, we do not get that octave bass coming back. We're staying just in like a single octave until we get back to this part.
You get it in your fishnets. Now you wanna get it.
There we go. Listen to this.
You're falling about. You took a left
There the
off
bass is
last
staying in the octave.
You were just sounding it out.
And then when we go back to the original verse on with the polyphony section, then he brings those octaves back.
You're
so tight. And the final call that I'll make as well is, you know, I said the percussion and the drums were like this whole song. There's a one final little thing in this final section. We add that tambourine in finally. It's been just the kit the whole time. And at the very end, you can hear the tambourine comes in, right? When it goes the "You're not coming back again." At the very end there, you can hear the tambo start to come in. You can hear it come in just at the end of 4 at the end there, right?
You're not coming back again.
And we keep the tambourine in. Just that subtle little thing, that subtle little bit, keeping the whole thing perfectly done. It's so subtle. I bet you guys didn't even know there was a tambourine in that song. Tell me in the chat if you knew there was even tambourine in that song or not at the very end. Alicia, what's up, Alicia? You can be 7 minutes, 17 minutes behind if you want. That's fine. I'm glad you're here and glad you're enjoying it. Okay. So there you go. I mean, that's I think all I got in me for that discussion of the arrangement of the music appreciation at that point right now. And I actually feel like that's gonna basically be a majority of the live stream, honestly. Do you guys want to look at some music stuff, or do you rather look at lyrics? You gotta let me know. I'm gonna take a quick break. Well, maybe I'll take a break like on stream. Like I said, I'm trying to really take care of my voice, especially considering, you know, I've been dealing with the issues with the acid reflux and stuff, and I'm feeling as though I gotta give myself like a short break, like a 10-minute vocal break. So maybe we'll just listen to the song all the way through again together. That'll give me 3 minutes, and then I'll spend some time just like at the piano or guitar or something playing some stuff around. But I definitely feel like I gotta give my vocal cords like a quick 10-minute break. I've been talking already nonstop for an hour and 20, and I'm feeling it. I gotta do that. So, tell me, should we look at theory or lyrics? Let me know.
Fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Nothing seems to pity is the past though. A Bloody Mary's like an El Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams. When as daft as they seem, as daft as they seemed, my love, when you dream them all. Flicking through a little book of sex tips. Remember when the bars were all electric? And now when she told she's gonna get it, I'm guessing that she'd rather just forget it. Clinging to not getting sentimental. Said she wasn't going but she went still. Like a gentleman had to be gentle. Was it a Mechadabra or a betting pencil? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams. When as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them overflow. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you You took a left off last life lane, just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. You're falling about, you took a left off last life lane, you were just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. You used to get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your nightdress. You started on the noise and the niceness, living in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Is everything as pretty as the past though? That bloody memory's like an Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal?
It's so good, everybody. I'm wondering. I got one vote for theory, one vote for lyrics, and one vote for. I think, Paul, you're saying lyrics? I think. Where did you go? Let's see here. Let's see if this is real. I'd love to listen to this, see if this is real. Let's really listen to just the drums, because he's kicking butt, Mr. Matt Helders. Jeez, that was loud. I mean, yeah, they obviously used an AI software to strip the drums. And it doesn't sound perfect, but you can really hear all the work that Mr. Helders is putting in here for sure. I love you can hear the tempo slightly drifting as well. Oh yeah, the kick drum is different in that second chorus. See? Never a repetition there. I mean, it's just badass, guys, isn't it? It's just really badass. It's truly, truly immaculate. Okay, so I am going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Can somebody I'd like to see one more tiebreaker on should we do lyrics or should we do theory, all right? So, should we do lyrics or theory? Somebody's got to let me know, all right? Be right back. Lyrics or I think we've really only got two proper votes in here. Let's get some more. All right, everyone, I'll be right back. All right, kiddos. We are so back, as the kids say. um, what do we have here? We have theory, lyrics. Wouldn't mind lyric, but music theory is cool too. I don't know how to feel about that, Paul. You gotta let me know. We have theory, lyrics, theory. That looks like 3 for theory, 2 for lyrics. I feel like Paul is saying lyrics, which would be 3 and 3. Of course, it's tied 3 and 3. is cancerous, isn't it? Oof, have you guys noticed lyric sites are just cancerous with the amount of ads that are all over the place? All right, so since it's tied, basically 3 lyrics and 3 theory, I get to decide. And honestly, I think I'd like to do lyrics, everybody. I think we're gonna do lyrics. We're gonna go lyrics for a couple of reasons, but because one, it means if we do whichever one we do, it means that the other one will be left to next time. And I think theory could stand on its own on the live stream a little bit more than the lyrics, because the lyrics are great. They're not as like obtuse or like opaque as a lot of other lyrics that we've looked at. Like, I feel like this song's pretty clear what it's talking about, honestly. So we should be able to get a really solid analysis of these lyrics pretty quickly. Obviously, I already have opinions on and thoughts on what this song is about. As like I said, I've loved this song for many years, and I've looked at the lyrics many times. And I have this song as part of my my bar/brewery gig set list. But I'll try to like take us through the process of figuring it out, right? I'm not just gonna hop in and say the song is about this, and here's why. I think I'd like to look through the lyrics line by line, and so we can kind of figure it out for ourselves, right? So we're gonna start here. The song is called Fluorescent Adolescent, right? The title is the place to start. So Fluorescent Adolescent. Well, what's the first thing is adolescent. You're like, okay, so adolescent, a young person, a person in their adolescence, especially that's kind of loaded coming from the Arctic Monkeys and coming from Alex Turner. Because like they're very young at this time. They're still, for all intents and purposes, in their adolescence. And especially their first album was like all about adolescence in a small town in northern England. I almost said Ireland. I don't know why. Shoot me. Sue me. So that's interesting. Fluorescent. Okay, so fluorescent, of course, means fluorescent, right? Like shining, neon, bright, chemicals, etc. All these things come to mind, right? Chemical elements, neon signs, shiny, brightness, fluorescent clothing, fluorescent, etc. So something about like a shining young person, right? Something like that. Or even like, you could even think of it like fluorescence being like, that's like a chemical or whatever, isn't it? There's fluorescence, that's the type of light, right? So there's something chemical inside there, right? So maybe that's another thing too. That's a lot of context that you can just glean just from the title, which is great. Oh yes, I would love to retire. Explore my retirement options. Yeah, sure, I'd love to. Other than the fact that I literally worked at a finance company for a while, and they did not offer me a goddamn 401k. How about that for hypocritical, huh? Anyway, let's get into it. You used to get it in your fishnets, right? So immediately we're looking back immediately in the song we are looking back on something. You used to. Get in your fishnets, I would think. Well, fishnets, I mean, right? Fishnet stockings on the legs, right? So it's like, yeah, you used to get it in your fishnets, right? You used to dress up and go out and get laid. Now, okay, so exactly. This line's about the past. You used to. And then now, there you go. We're saying it used to be this way, but now it's this way. You only get it in your night dress, right? Okay, now you only have sex when you're in your night dress. Now you only get it in your night dress, right? That's obviously much more domestic and some might say boring. Some would argue otherwise, that, there's nothing boring about a domestic life and security with the partner or what have you. But that's the idea, is like you used to, think about it like sexual escapades or what have you, like sex is like an exciting thing, right? Like it used to be exciting, and now it's kind of not, right? So we're immediately calling out a contrast, a juxtaposition. We immediately are saying things now aren't like they used to be, right? We tell it right there. We discarded all of our naughty nights for niceness, right? By niceness in this case, I would interpret this as meaning, yeah, the security and comfort of a partnership and like a more domestic life, right? And you've landed yourself in a very common crisis. How many people do we know do this? How many people do we know are a certain way when they're younger? Maybe acting crazy, living a fluorescent life in all of the ways and meanings we talked about, the meaning of the word fluorescent there, in your adolescence. And you used to live a fluorescent adolescence, and then you just stop doing that eventually, right? You stop partying, you stop going out, you stop hooking up with people, you stop wearing sexy clothes or what have you to kind of do the mating ritual of attracting the other sex, right? It's very, very, very common. What I think is very interesting about this, I will just personally speak, that it's funny. I mean, these guys, when they hit the scene, they were like 18, right? By the time they're writing this one, they're like 20. So it's very interesting that they're saying, like, this is a crisis, right? They're framing this as it's a bad thing. Getting into your night dress is bad. Getting in your fishnets and having naughty nights and all this stuff, that's good. The night dress and the niceness is a crisis. It's very interesting to say that it seems very telling of the age they were when they wrote this, if you ask me, that they think it's a crisis to find yourself in a happy relationship. I mean, then again, maybe the relationship isn't happy. Maybe they're saying the crisis you're facing is you're boring. Maybe not boring. Maybe you're bored. That's the what I think more accurate to say. Maybe they're saying you're bored, right? The very common crisis is you are not enjoying your life anymore. Your life feels dull and dim, and you are bored and you are unsatisfied with your life as compared to your bright and shining, chemically infused younger self, right? Everything's in order in a black hole. I mean, that's a pretty neat line, right? So a black hole is like, I mean, it's chaos and gravity and like you can't see past into the black hole, right? Like it's just absolute darkness. Not even light can escape it, right? And it's saying everything's in order in that black hole. So what are we saying here, right? Like, well, I'm not sure. Let's come back to this line after looking at this. Nothing seems as pretty as the past, though, right? Oh, there you go. Remember, like we were saying, it's very interesting the wordplay he's playing with, and Alex Turner's ability to kind of paint the picture from all sides and look at it, because he's saying, oh, well, this whole thing's a crisis, right? Oh, maybe you think that you're landed yourself in a crisis of niceness, but are you sure you're thinking so lucidly and saliently? Maybe you're looking back with a You're looking back with rose-colored glasses, right? Maybe that's what they're saying with the black hole. You know, the black hole, they say nothing can escape the black hole, right? Not even light can escape, and it's kind of a foregone conclusion in a certain way. Maybe the black hole is saying the black hole of your past, the black hole of back then, you can't change it. You know, none those memories can't like kind of be escaped. Those actions can't be escaped. The way it was can't be escaped. And looking back on it, we think, oh, everything was in order back then. Everything was better. Everything was something like this or that. However, you're looking at it through rose-tinted glasses, rose-colored glasses, right? Nothing seems pretty as the past, though. For real, though. But is that correct? Like we all know that's not the way that life actually works. The Bloody Mary's lacking in Tabasco. I think this is just a really fun, cheeky way of saying, you know, you're lacking spice, right? Yeah, I don't think there's too. It's just a really, really great, poetic, cheeky way of saying your life is lacking spice, right? Remember when you used to be a big rascal, right? I mean, pretty self-explanatory lyrics, I do have to say. I think it's very self-explanatory. I love the way it interacts with the title, I will say. So, moving forward in the chorus. Oh, the boy's a slag, the best you've ever had. The best you ever had is just a memory. It's kind of sad, isn't it? All of a sudden. This song has such a twinge of sadness, doesn't it? The boy's a slag. I mean, can any British people let us in on that secret of what does slag mean? Slag Urban Dictionary. All right, well, there we have it, everybody. A slag, a girl or boy who shags everything in sight and has a million STDs. Thank you, Urban Dictionary. That's great. Someone who sleeps around a lot. All right. So they're saying, oh, that boy is someone who sleeps around with a lot of people, but somehow it's the best you've ever had. And the best you ever had is just a memory. Kind of sad looking back at it from there, right? Saying, you know, the niceness you have found yourself in, right? You're still just looking back and thinking about, there's regret. There is so much regret seemingly in these lyrics. But perhaps, interestingly enough, it's not even necessarily regret of the person who's in this situation. It's not necessarily the person who Alex Turner is deeming is in the crisis, who's being sad and regretful. It's almost like the narrator of the song is kind of looking at their friend and passing their own judgment on it, right? And we know that Alex Turner, you know, is able to paint things in many different pictures, many different ways. Maybe that's kind of the point. Maybe the point of the song is also to get you to think about this whole situation of like the regret, looking at the past. It used to be a certain way, now it's not. Growing older and discarding naughty nights for niceness, and your adult years aren't as fluorescent as your adolescence was. That's all true, but at the same time, it's also maybe it's kind of scathing and mean or rude to say to a friend that, yeah, you've changed and you are in a crisis. I'm not being very eloquent in saying what I'm trying to say here, but there's multiple perspectives is what I'm saying. The song is inherently not only addressing the situation of the person in the situation, it is inherently also painting a picture about somebody, like the narrator, watching their friend or someone they know grow up and move on and from a certain lifestyle, right? Like all of these things are a part of this whole thing, right? So isn't that very interesting? The dreams weren't as daft. I believe daft The dreams weren't as daft as they seem, not as daft as they seem. I believe daft means kind of like stupid or something like that. Doesn't it? Yeah, silly and foolish, right? So the dreams aren't as silly and or foolish as they seem. My love when you dream them up, right? Let's see here. So the dreams, I'm assuming the dreams of the past, right? Are we talking about the dreams of the past? Or are we talking about when we were a fluorescent adolescent and we're dreaming of the future? Dreaming of the niceness. Maybe the dreams of settling down and having the niceness and setting up our life, maybe they're not that silly. Or not. Or maybe they're saying the dreams of the best you've ever had aren't that silly when you dream them up. Maybe what he's saying is, you know, it's silly to be stuck on a memory. The best thing I've ever had is just a memory. However, there's nothing wrong with being sentimental, right? There's nothing necessarily inherently wrong with having those daydreams about the past. Let me check in with the chat here for a second. Fishnet's a great wordplay, hooking up with partners literally like with a net, but actually wearing fishnet pants. Yes, absolutely, absolutely correct. Hook, line, sinker, very good. The song is sort of an introspection on the retrospective of what he has been witness to, or something like that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Again, like I said, it inherently is a discussion of not only the situation of somebody like that, but also what it's like to be not that person and watch that person change, right? Very cool. Very good. I gotta say, I wanna draw this conclusion. I love that at the end of this, he's being very sentimental. Oh, those dreams and those times. They're not all that daft. They're not all that silly. When I daydream them, it's all right. And then later we say we're clinging to not getting sentimental. When at the same time, at the end of the chorus, this is inherently quite sentimental to begin with, right? It's very interesting. Is this kind of in quotes? Is this the person who is clinging to not getting sentimental, but is sentimental? I don't know. I think that's a fun thing that it says you're clinging to not getting sentimental, yet at the end of the chorus, this is just sentimental to begin with. All right. There we go. Flicking through a little bit of sex tips. Remember, the boys were all electric. Now, when she's told she's going to get it, she'd rather just forget it. It comes out. The sex isn't good anymore, right? Now we're getting it in our night dress. When we used to get it in our fishnets, and we would say, well, is that really such a problem? You know, what's wrong with growing up and having a good partnership with someone you love? But, oh, hold on a second. Turns out she'd rather just not have sex to begin with. She'd rather not get it at all. So she's trying to figure out how are we going to spice up our sex life, right? It's starting to come out in the lyrics as we're painting the picture with more colors and more depth that, you know, maybe she does have a reason for being sentimental and dreaming about the past, because maybe she has indeed found herself in a crisis. The crisis is not necessarily domesticity and settling down. The crisis is domesticity and settling down with somebody that doesn't actually make you happy. And that doesn't necessarily just mean in the bedroom. It could also mean, you know, all kinds of other things. Clinging to not getting sentimental, said she wasn't going, but she went still. Likes a gentleman, not to be gentle. Was it a mechadabber or a betting pencil? I have no idea what a mechadabber is. I think I know what a betting pencil is, but we'll come back to that. I mean, it's clear that sex is a really, really, really big part of this song, right? Maybe at the end of the day, the song could really just be about sex. Like, there is, of course, all the subtext of the domesticity, the growing up, being somebody, watching somebody become less like that shining, bright person they used to be, and kind of, you know, mellow out and stuff like that. But at the kind of, that's all the subtext. It kind of like the forefront of it is sex, right? Sex used to be good and exciting, you know, trying all this stuff, and then you find yourself not being not in a situation where it's good anymore. I mean, it's kind of, I'm getting kind of redundant here, but that's kind of because it seems like the, you know, this is what I meant when I said the songs aren't real. The song isn't really all that. The lyrics are not all that opaque. They're not all that obtuse. Like, it's pretty clear kind of what's being talked about, and a lot of it is just expanding on the image, expanding on the idea that we're seeing here. A Becadabra is a big marker used for bingo. Betting pencil is a tiny pencil. Right, there you go. There you go. See, I've sung this line 100 times, and I never knew. I mean, he's probably talking about penis size here, right? She likes her gentleman not to be gentle. Was it a big marker or a little pencil? Right? That is like, do you guys know Shakespeare just did tons of like dick jokes? Like, dick jokes was all over Shakespeare. And here is Alex Turner with a Shakespearean level dick joke, just really hiding that in there. Repeating these lyrics here, of course. Flo, where did you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? I guess Flo, perhaps. I mean, look at this. Flo, Fluorescent, Adolescent. Perhaps, I don't know. Maybe either Alex Turner came up with the title and wrote everything around that, and I was like, well, I want to put a name here. I'll just use Flo from Fluorescent Adolescent here. Kind of makes sense. Or perhaps, did he actually have a friend named Flo that he was watching having in this situation, and kind of from Flo is where he derived Fluorescent Adolescent. Kind of fun, right? Just saying, where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Right? So here in the bridge, it's very, very, very clear now that, you know, I mean, all this whole first part of the song all the way through the second chorus is really mostly talking about things kind of mostly from the perspective of and around and about the person who was the fluorescent adolescent and now, you know, is trading in the naughty nights for niceness. Now in this bridge, into this part of the bridge as well, we do now start to see into the thoughts and the thought process, the feelings and emotions of the narrator, of the person who's just saying, me, I, the narrator, now wonder what happened to you. Where did you go? You know, where did the excitement and the zest for life that you used to have, where did all that go? What happened to you? But furthermore, where did you go in terms of where did you go? You're not in the pubs anymore with us. You're not out there at the games with us. You're not on the streets. We're like, where did you go? Where are you? And I think that's we know where they went. They went home in a night dress, right? But you know, both figuratively and literally, right? I love this. Falling about, you took a left off of last laugh lane, just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. Now, the person, the narrator, is understanding, coming to terms with the fact that they're not getting their that version of their friend back. That fluorescent adolescent version of Flo is not coming back. Last laugh lane, I suppose, in this instance, kind of represents creating those memories with your friends where you're just like being, you know, bogards, idiots on the streets or whatever, and talking about everything and nothing, and just hilarious stuff happens where you all just start laughing and having a great time. You're just saying, hey, you know, this was the last laugh. Like, it kind of, you know, that those really sad things that they say where it's just like at one point or another, you all have hugged, you know, old friends for the last time, or, you know, there's a certain point where your mom and dad put you down and then never pick you up again. And that's it. This is the last laugh that you had with that person. And looking back and seeing your circle of friends changing, right? Circle of friends changing both in terms of how they act, but also in terms of whether or not they're even around anymore. And it's interesting that now saying it like that, that brings up them thoughts of Ultra Cheese, right? Like from 2009 or whatever this album came out, 2009, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. 2007, yeah. In 2007, all the way to 2018, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, Alex Turner does seem to be concerned with, as a theme in his writing, his friends. Where are they going? How are they changing? You know, the members of his community. It's an interesting thing to see as an artist, to look into him and see this theme play out across his career, that it's something he's interested about, that he's concerned about, he thinks about it, right? And then we just repeat it from there. So, like, yeah, exactly like we said from the first, you kind of get it, the whole meaning of the whole song right from the beginning, when you really look into the subtext and everything, that it is about, yeah, that changing person and them changing, and it can be good, it can be bad, it depends. But in this case, it seems that they're unsatisfied, and it's kind of sad to watch your friends make decisions and end up in, kind of sad, it's entirely sad to see your friends make decisions and then end up in unsatisfied lives and being kind of unwilling or unable to change their circumstances, and knowing that memory of your friend is all you have of them now, right? I think that this definitely has a sort of double meaning, all of this. It's not necessarily just about the sex and the slag. This is not just talking about that person, the fluorescent adolescent, and how, oh man, they dream about the good sex they used to have. I think that the double meaning on this as well is also about the best memories that I had, the best times I ever had with these people and these friends are just memories. And they're just dreams, and maybe it's silly, you know, again, Daphne's foolish or silly. Maybe it's silly to look back and miss that person so much. Well, shouldn't you be happy for this person? Shouldn't you respect their decisions? Shouldn't it be all these things? But, you know, at the same time, like for you, it's just a memory. And when I dream about it, it's not silly for me to, it's not necessarily silly to reminisce about that person, because it brings joy to me, and it makes me happy to have that nostalgia, big part of this as well. And again, it's so funny, he kind of does that perfect thing where, like, he's set up all these lyrics and across the whole song in the perspective of talking about another person, but so much of it is him probably also talking about himself. There's a lot of like self-reflection, holding up a mirror to himself kind of thing with this, as I just said, but also with this, you know, he's saying, yeah, you're clinging to it and getting sentimental, you know, kind of pointing that finger at that person and pointing this finger at that person, but really, this is exactly what he's doing in this song, right? He's kind of has a essence of hypocrisy to the song, and I don't think that the hypocrisy in this case is calls for moral or ethical outrage. I actually think it is exactly this kind of hypocrisy in the song that makes it such a good song, makes it so human, makes it feel like it just has this realness, this authenticity, this genuineness to it. Because I don't know how old all you guys are, you know, in the live stream with me, but anyone who's reached a certain age, I mean, again, like I said earlier in the stream, I'm 28. I'm not even old, but I already identify with this very, 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 very much, you know? And I identify with all sides of it. I think that's so naturally human to be like, man, I miss my old days. But at the same time, I believe in my decisions and the changing, and I understand the changing of the seasons and the growing up of life. But then I also look at my friends and I see them doing the same thing, and wondering about their choices and seeing how things are different. And well, I still go out and try to have fun and do this, and maybe they don't, but then maybe seeing, oh, I have a little bit of hypocrisy here as well, and just this emotional cocktail of how that we're all kind of going through the same things, maybe at different times, but these are all pretty much universal experiences, right? And there's even a certain point where you'd think that the people who are still doing this, right? When is the time? When is the right time to take a left off of Last Laugh Lane and not come back again? Because there's a certain point, like maybe when you're 20 years old, you think that the people who took that last laugh, took the left off of Last Laugh Lane are like, well, you guys are lame. But then what about the time you get to 24, 25? And now you're like, well, maybe you guys who are still getting it in your fishnets are the lame ones, right? It's so interesting, like the time at play, the passage of time as an aspect of this song, right? I mean, the passage of time, it's right there in the beginning. Used to be like this, now it's like that. Passage of time is another big bit of subtext to this. So this fate, this experience in the song, like the passage of time, is inescapable. Right? It's inescapable, and it's beautiful. They're good lyrics for sure. Again, they're not all that opaque or obtuse. They're pretty transparent. It's pretty clear what he's talking about, but it's so human and a great way to talk about it, and such fun wordplay and poetry, right? So maybe we'll go back through the lyrics and specifically, like Paul was doing, talk about specifically What Katie Did is the song I think you'd like. Hey, Rudy, thank you very, very much for the super like. Thank you very much. I appreciate it so much, Rudy. Can we get some F? Can we get F sharps? Wait, hold on a second. We're in what key are we in? We're in the key of E. So can we get F sharps in the chat for Rudy? Thanks, Rudy. Thank you very much. If you guys want to support me, like I was saying, you can leave a super thanks on the chat, just a tip there in the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you much. You can take private lessons with me. I have a link to that on my link tree on my profile. You can check out all my other videos and like and subscribe. You can listen to my original music. Like I've got a couple songs out already and more to come. You can subscribe to my Patreon. You can share the live stream and the content and all kinds of things with others. Thank you for being here in this community. Really appreciate it. Let's see here. I mean, going back into lyrics, like I was saying, just looking at like the wordplay, right? Fishnets is great because it's a very visual. It like puts you right in there. And like Paul said, it's great wordplay because it's like hooking up with partners. But like, yeah, hooking up with partners, it's like a fish hook, hooking up, getting caught on the line, but then also just wearing fishnet pants. Here's another potential reading of that. Fishnets are a trap, right? So maybe they're saying, it's a trap. But that's the interesting thing, right? The first read on it would be that the common crisis is the trap of the fishnets, right? Growing up, getting it in your night dress, discarding naughty nights for niceness, in that common crisis, that's the trap of the fishnets. But then, yeah, on the opposite side of that, why are we using the fishnets, the trap, to symbolize the naughtiness and the excitement, the fluorescence? Perhaps he's saying that is also a trap. Maybe he's saying they're both traps. Maybe he's saying it's an inescapable trap either way. We did talk about Black Hole. We talked about Tabasco. We talked about Rascal. I mean, let's talk about the fact that he makes words rhyme that don't rhyme, but he makes them work because of his accent. It's so great. No, hole, though, Tabasco. Oh, yeah, rascal. Rascal. Like, I would say rascal, That wouldn't really rhyme with Tabasco. You have to say it in a certain way. I mean, his word choice is just so delicious and vivid. A slag, best you ever had, a memory. Daft. Daft is such a good word in there. Flickin'. Very good, very good. Sex tips, electric. That's a great rhyme. Sex tips and electric. Forget it, get it. I mean, you're basically rhyming with get it on that one. Um, clean to not getting sentimental. Wasn't going much. She went still. Again, a great rhyme. Mental with went still. Gentle. So good. I love this too. The gentleman should not be gentle in bed. It's very, very, very good. Mechadubba or betting pencil. Again, a Shakespearean level dick joke. I love it. We kind of talked about Last Laugh Lane a good amount already. I mean, that's it. That's really all there is to talk about with these lyrics. They're beautifully vivid and poetic and fun and cheeky, that there's plenty to dig into and sink your teeth in, and they feel so good in the mouth, and it's none of these words are cliche. Like, he's using really great words that feel so colorful, vivid, bountiful, intriguing, original, and authentic, and not some words in lyrics you're like, really, you're gonna use that word in your lyric? Because some of them can be so cliche. Like, really? You really just rhymed tonight with all right? Really? Again? So many people using that. And Alex Turner never seems to fall into those common traps that you see many other songwriters and lyricists fall into. The faux pas and the traps. He always finds a way to say the thing he's trying to say in a really original yet clear kind of way. Okay, that's not true. When I said clear, that is not true. In fact, I think that this song is, oddly enough, one of the fewer examples of the song being totally clear. I mean, I suppose on the first two albums, things in general were pretty clear about what they were. He was just like such a great like little wordsmith, lyricist, poet type person. And as time goes on, like when we get to Humbug, that's when all of a sudden lyrics are like, what are you talking about, dude? There you go. Let's see here. Slag and Hat hits real hard. Yeah. Alex Turner, an unbelievably brilliant lyricist. Yep, I agree. I mean, he's great. We had a lot of really fun and great discussion in a couple of other live streams, comparing, contrasting Julian and Alex as lyricists. Among others, I would love the opportunity to talk about others as lyricists. I did talk about Ezra Koenig and Vampire Weekend as lyricists on the Vampire Weekend stream, and I just love the ability to talk about more lyrics. I love lyrics. I mean, lyrics are such a huge part of songwriting, and songwriting is such a massive passion and love of mine that I love getting the chance to talk about this stuff and talk about talented lyricists. And there's lots of different ways to be good lyricists. So like, example, these three people, Ezra, Julian, Alex, three very talented lyricists, all have such distinct different styles. And it's definitely true that Alex's style is very baroque and ornamental. And that's really, 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 really great sometimes. I mean, he puts words into songs that you're like, how did you fit this word in that song? I never thought that was a word that could be in a song. He's very good at that. There you go. You wanna know who's one of my favorites? A recommendation for all of you guys. Since we're talking about songwriting and stuff. I spelled it wrong. Andy Schauf is, I think, one of the best songwriters out there nowadays. He is one of my absolute favorite. His album, if you're looking for a good songwriter, come on, I can't delete it. If you're looking for an amazing songwriter in a very, very different way than these three people that we're already talking about, listen to the album The Party by Andy Schauf. It is, I actually think that album is like a masterpiece of songwriting. It's so amazing. There you go, my friends. I mean, I think that's pretty much going to be the stream for today. We've been doing it, for 2 hours and 12 minutes. Like I said, because of the whole everything going on with my health. My voice is definitely feeling pretty tired right now. I mean, I'm happy I was able to talk for the 2.5 hours, well, 2 hours and 10 minutes. But just taking care of myself and my health, I think we should kind of call it there. You know, I'm hoping as I continue to take care of myself and recover, we'll get back to doing the 3 hour streams or not, or maybe I'll just retain the liberty to whenever it makes sense. Just be like, you know, this was just a 2 hour stream, guys. I don't think it makes sense to hop into the theory. So I think that'll be that. Let me know if you guys have any other questions or thoughts that we can talk about at the end of the stream. Let's see what's coming up next. Pull up my calendar. Monday the 29th. Monday, April 29th is a minor but major Monday. Poll incoming on what song we're doing, which means Wednesday, what would that be? The 8th? Yep. Wednesday, May 8th. We are doing Fluorescent Adolescent Part 2, where we're looking at, you know, more music theory and stuff. So there you go, everybody. I hope you heal quickly and feel better. Have a great one, Maddie. But check out Andy. Hey, I'm glad you do. I will say that's the annoying thing about the whole acid reflux thing is it takes like months to like get everything in order. It's really annoying. Like when the mucosal lining of the gut and the esophagus and the lower and the upper intestines gets messed up and the gut biome gets messed up, it actually can take months or to get it all back in order. And not to mention the fact that again the acid comes up and literally cause an acid reflux, literally an acid burn on the vocal cords. Now I know I sound normal, I don't feel normal. So basically I'm still healing. I mean, literally think about a burn. Burns take a long time to heal. It's literally an acid burn. And so I do appreciate the well wishes and the wishing me a swift recovery. I just want to actually manage expectations and just let people know, like, hey, it'll probably be months until I'm totally back to full health, and that is notwithstanding a relapse. I might even have a relapse of acid reflux and have to kind of start over. We'll see. It's a terrible thing. Everyone, take care of your health. Do I have complaints with the song? No, I mean, I think this is like basically a perfect song. Like I said, like it's just like electric. I mean, this is the song that got me hooked on the Arctic Monkeys, and all these years later, it's still so easy to nerd out about how good it is. You know, it still makes you feel like, oh my God, it's so good when you really stop to pay attention to it. It's truly great. So I don't have any complaints with this song, not at all. All the best for my full recovery, Paul. It is a pleasure to have you here. Go get some sleep. Thanks for staying up. Really, I'm honored that you stayed up late enough to hang out with us. Hope you get some sleep as well, my friend. Thank you for the well wishes. Thank you, everybody else, for the well wishes. Super excited to see you guys on the next one. If you want to support me, yeah, all those things. Super thanks, like, share, subscribe, private lessons, Patreon, original music, all the good stuff. I will see all of you guys next time. All right? Cool. Peace.